Dragon Ball Super Broly, it is revealed that Goku wasn't sent to Earth to destroy the planet, but he was sent there to survive. He got one good long look at his parents before he was sent to Earth. Once he lands, he is found by Grandpa Gohan and taken in. Except this time, the boy isn't rowdy and obnoxious at all, except he is rather sad. He constantly looks up to the sky and puts his hand out like he's trying to reach for something that isn't quite there. Gohan watches the boy, and since he came from the sky, he believes the boy is just trying to return to where he came from. Gohan tries to ask the boy for his name, and the boy just responds, Kakarot. Over the years, Gohan trains Kakarot in martial arts, and the two form a very tight bond. As Kakarot gets older, Gohan tries to ask if he remembers anything, and Kakarot tells him he remembers his parents saying that they would come for him as soon as they could, and to not look up at the moon for too long. He doesn't know what that last one means, but he trusts his parents, and he claims he won't look at the moon. Gohan asks if maybe he wants to go out and find them, but Kakarot says that they're on another planet, so it's impossible. Gohan does mention that the city has spaceships, but the last one that they launched failed and almost destroyed the city. That's when Kakarot gets the idea that maybe they could tamper with his own spaceship and be able to send it out into space. This isn't in Gohan's area of expertise, however, and Kakarot begs for them to take the ship and see if they can bring it to a city to get repaired. Gohan doesn't want to take away the opportunity that his adopted grandson may get to see his parents again, so Gohan agrees that they can go. The two track down Kakarot's spaceship, and each take turns carrying it along the mountains to find civilization. It takes them quite a few weeks, but eventually they find a small town, and are able to get directions to the most famous scientist in the world, Dr. Briefs in West City. The two buy some capsules and put Kakarot's spaceship inside, and then go by car to the city of the West. Once they arrive, they make their way to Dr. Briefs and ask if the doctor can fix up his spacecraft and make it able to fly again. The doctor says he may be able to, as he was able to pick up the parts from some alien years back, and maybe he could get it working again. Kakarot is very excited that he may be able to see his parents again, but Gohan tells him that even if they manage to get it fixed up, how's he going to know where to go? Kakarot didn't think this far ahead and asks if there are any maps or anything, which Gohan tells him there are no such thing. Dr. Briefs then tells him that his daughter left yesterday, going to search for some magical balls that could grant any wish, and maybe he could wish for directions. Seeing a chance, Kakarot asks if he can go find the doctor's daughter, and Dr. Briefs, being the nice guy that he is, calls up Bulma and asks where she is, and she responds that she's on Omori's island currently with her sister. Dr. Briefs says that there is apparently an alien boy who would like to join her on her quest here so he can get back home. Bulma would definitely be shocked about hearing about an alien, and Tights and Omori just think it's a friend of Jocko's and tell her that maybe it'll be a fun adventure, like it was for them. Gohan and Kakarot are flown in by helicopter to Omori's island, and the group are surprised to see that this alien looks exactly human, except with a tail. Omori remembers Jocko saying that an alien with a tail was supposed to come to Earth to annihilate them, and Kakarot tells him that he doesn't want to kill anybody, he just wants to see his family again. Omori asks if it would be okay to ask Jocko for directions, since he is a galactic patrolman after all, and would know better than anybody. Kakarot doesn't care at all, since again, he just wants to see his family. Omori calls Jocko, and Jocko would obviously be shocked that the alien did actually show up on Earth, and would rush over as fast as he could. Bulma stays on the island to wait, since learning about alien technology would be very interesting to her, and the Dragon Balls can wait. Once Jocko arrives, he says he's going to have to arrest Kakarot, as his race sent him here to kill all the humans. But Kakarot snaps back, saying his parents sent him here to protect him, and he just wants to go home and meet them again. Jocko then breaks the news that his planet was destroyed by a gigantic meteor, and his parents are most likely dead. This shocks everybody beyond belief, and Kakarot just breaks down crying into his grandpa's arms. Bulma feels really bad for the young boy, and says that maybe they can use a wish on the Dragon Balls to bring his parents back. Kakarot perks back up and wonders if this can actually be done, and hope springs back in him again. But once again, Jocko tries to stop him, saying he has to go with him as he doesn't belong on this planet. This is when Gohan steps in and threatens Jocko, saying that he's just a poor boy who wants to see his family, and that Gohan will not allow Jocko to take that away from him, or he's going to get the beating of his life. Being threatened by Gohan, Bulma, and Tights gets Jocko to back down, and he allows Kakarot to go with Bulma. Bulma and Kakarot go on their journey to gather the Dragon Balls, and this entire quest goes on basically as normal, with Kakarot just being less naive and getting straight to the point with his foes, which allows them to easily beat up Pilaf before he has the chance to lock them up. Once the Dragon Balls are gathered, Kakarot wishes for his parents to be brought back to life, but Shenron tells him that the planet they were on was destroyed, and if he brings them back, then they'll just be in the vacuum of space, and die again. So, Kakarot decides to wish back the planet along with everybody on it, and this time Shenron is able to grant a wish, and all of the Saiyans are brought back to life. Kakarot is beyond happy, and after all the Dragon Balls disappear, the group, with Oolong and Yamcha in tow, return to Omori's island so Jocko can give directions to Planet Vegeta. Meanwhile on Planet Vegeta, Bardock falls back down to the planet in shock and confusion. He was just firing at Frieza's death ball a second ago, and he was engulfed, so what exactly happened? Bardock returns to Gine to see if she's okay, and she's extremely confused as well. King Vegeta, who has returned to life as well, orders the Saiyan troops that they need to escape the planet, as Frieza tried to kill them all, and if he finds out that they're all back somehow, then he'll surely return and kill them all once again. Of course, they really have nowhere to go, and as fast as possible the Saiyans gather in ships and blast off to go find a new planet. Except for Bardock and Gine. Since Frieza isn't directly over them watching their every move at the moment, they decide now is the only time when they'll be able to go see their son, so they leave the Saiyans and depart to Earth to find Kakarot. Frieza gets an extremely confusing message from his scouts saying that Planet Vegeta has somehow returned and allowed the Saiyans on it. This news greatly surprises Frieza, and he decides to head off to the planet immediately. Once they arrive, however, the Saiyans are not there. The planet is left completely intact except all of the ships are missing, and Frieza is enraged on how the monkeys have somehow returned and have slipped past him once again. So Frieza orders all of his soldiers to go out and find these Saiyans and bring them back to his capital for execution. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz have learned of the planet's restoration as well, and overhear the order for all the Saiyans to die, which makes them put two and two together and realize that Frieza must have been the one who destroyed the planet all those years ago. So, the Saiyans defect from Frieza and try to find out where they can go to find the other Saiyans. Raditz tells the others that his mom sent off his brother to a planet called Earth, so maybe her and his dad escaped there from Frieza, and the others believe it's worth a shot, and Bardock could help them, so they head off to Earth as well. Back on Earth, Kakarot goes to depart with Jocko after a tearful goodbye between him and Gohan, when Jocko suddenly gets a message from the Galactic King that Planet Vegeta was indeed restored, except Frieza is now called a manhunt for every Saiyan in existence. Kakarot has no idea who Frieza is, but knows that this can't be good at all, and Jocko tells him that he's going to have to stay here for now, since if the Frieza forces realize that the Galactic Patrol has a Saiyan in custody, he'll most likely kill them all. So Kakarot should lay low on Earth for now. Kakarot is extremely disappointed and scared that his parents may have been killed again, but Bulma tries to reassure him that now they may be looking for him and might come to Earth. This makes Kakarot feel a little better, and he decides to return home with Gohan for now, in hopes that his parents will arrive. Luckily for him, a few weeks pass, and Bardock and Gine do indeed land near Gohan's house. Kakarot and Gohan hear the explosion, and go to investigate, and quickly find Bardock and Gine. Kakarot stares at his parents in disbelief. After all this time, he's been wanting to find them, and finally, here they are, right in front of him, for real. He instantly breaks down crying and runs into their arms, and the family, after so long, finally embrace. Gine tries to explain to her son that they meant to come for him earlier, but Frieza attacked, and suddenly, he disappeared. They took the opportunity to come and get him. Kakarot explains to them that he found these magical orbs called Dragon Balls, and he used them to wish everybody on his planet back to life. Bardock and Gine would be extremely confused by this, but it's the only explanation they have, so they believe it. Gohan explains to the Saiyans that a Galactic Patrol officer was here, and said that somebody named Frieza is currently going on a manhunt to find all the Saiyans, so it would be best if they stayed on Earth for now, instead of returning home. Bardock tells him that that was the plan, but they need to go out and find their other son, Raditz, and bring him back here. About like a second after he says that, Vegeta and the others land in the same city that they did in canon, and they go off to find Kakarot. This time though, they ditched their scouters so Frieza couldn't find them, and are basically going blindly throughout the planet. Luckily, Jocko's detector would pick them up, and Bardock, Gine, and Kakarot go to find them, and Gine is shocked that Raditz has finally found his way here, and she rushes in to hug him as well. Later, at Capsule Corp, the group discuss what exactly is going to happen now, since Frieza is going on a manhunt for all the Saiyans, and if he manages to track them down here, then them along with the planet itself are going to be destroyed, since all of the Saiyans combined aren't even enough to take on Frieza. Gohan tells them all that his master trained under one of the gods of Earth, so maybe the group could go up there and train with him. This interests the Saiyans, even though Vegeta isn't very fond of having a teacher, but he's just mad that Frieza lied to them and wants to help take out Frieza too. Once Gohan gets the info that they need from Roshi, the Saiyans head up to Korin's tower. Korin realizes that the Saiyans training under him would be of no benefit to them at all, so he instructs them to go even higher, to Kami's lookout. When the Saiyans get to the lookout, they encounter Kami, and Bardock is very confused on why there would be a Namekian on Earth. And hearing that he's a Namekian would interest Kami, but this isn't the time for that. Kami says he's noticed the Saiyans arriving on the planet, and has heard of the tyrannical dictator that might be arriving soon. So he suggests that the Saiyans train in the hyperbolic time chamber, where you can train for a year in a day. Only 2 people can go in at a time, however, and Bardock says he's going to go in with Kakarot first to train him up a lot more and teach him the Saiyan way of fighting, while the others stay outside. The next 2 to go in would be Vegeta and Nappa, and once Bardock is done with Kakarot, he'll go back in with Raditz and train him up as well. After a few days, everybody emerges from the time chamber, much stronger. Now, to know exactly how strong everybody would be, I used Lightro-Storm's calculations on what exactly the multiplier would be for training in the time chamber. So if you want to see how he came up with the multipliers, check out on top to see his video and where I got these from. Bardock and Kakarot went in first, and since Kakarot was so weak at a power level of about 50, Bardock spent most of his time training his son, not exactly himself. So he wouldn't get that big of a boost right off the bat. He would most likely get a 3 times increase, which would put him at around 30,000 in power. Kakarot got a lot of training done, and as we know, Goku is a master martial artist and learner, so he would adapt to his father's teaching rather quickly, and due to Bardock's harsher training and the harsh conditions of the time chamber, Kakarot would increase his power from 50 to 3,000 in only a year. Which may seem low, but for right now, it's an insane increase in power, and we're only technically in the first arc of Dragon Ball, and he's already leagues ahead of where he was in the early Saiyan arc of canon. Vegeta and Nappa would go in next, and Vegeta wasn't at his power of 18,000 yet, and I'll say probably around 12,000, with Nappa being at around 3,500. After their training together in the time chamber, Vegeta would increase to a whopping 60,000, with Nappa hitting 17,500. Yeah, the time chamber doesn't mess around. Finally, Bardock goes back in with Raditz, and Raditz is a much better training partner for Bardock than Kakarot was, and the training for Bardock is much more effective, with him getting all the way up to 150,000, while Raditz hits 7,500. Kami is very impressed on how well everybody has done in the chamber over the last few days, but tells them that you can only use the time chamber 3 times in your lifetime, so they can't use it as a viable option much longer, especially in Bardock's case. Of course, even though the Saiyans have got much stronger, it's not enough to be able to beat Frieza and save the Saiyans. This is when Vegeta tells them all that he has the ability to summon a fake moon which can transform them into great apes and give them a fighting chance. Bardock knows this would indeed make them all extremely powerful, but at the risk of making them a larger target and easier to spot. Even with this knowledge, the Saiyans begin to train into great ape forms to try and get Kakarot and Raditz used to them, since they haven't used it much, and in Kakarot's case, not at all. To quickly take a sidestep, Gine has begun work at Capsule Corp being a chef while their family is off training. She prepares a big meal for them after they finish their training session for the day. Frieza's forces have also captured a few Saiyans who landed on other worlds, and although Frieza interrogated them, they have no idea where the rest of the Saiyans went, so they are executed for being useless in Frieza's eyes. King Vegeta and the others have found a far-off planet long abandoned, and while they'd like to plan a coup on Frieza, they realize it would be more dangerous and helpful. So, they lie low for the time being. One day, back on Earth, while going to train, Kakarot discovers a power within himself that might be able to change everything. The wrathful Saiyan form. Now, you may be thinking I'm just pulling this out of nowhere, but Goku has actually used a little bit of this form in canon. If you remember during the fight with King Piccolo, Goku used the power of a Great Ape for his final blow. So, I believe training in Great Ape would allow Kakarot to access this kind of power a lot faster. After showing off this form to the others, the Saiyans would be astonished with the wrathful Saiyan state, and believe that this is the key to stopping Frieza. Bardock already as a Great Ape is stronger than first form Frieza, so if he can harness its power in his base form, they will win for sure. So, the group make one final time chamber visit, and the Saiyans take turns learning the wrathful state from Kakarot, and, after all their training, the Saiyans would have access to the wrathful state, and be able to control themselves while in it. Once the group has finished their training, Dr. Briefs has finally finished work on Kakarot's ship, and it's pretty much exactly like the one from the Namek saga. So, the Saiyans bid farewell, and all depart to go take out Frieza. Gine looks up to the sky and tearfully wishes them all luck, and that her and the entire race are rooting for them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is only the first part, so I hope you guys stick around for part 2. Well, until we meet again, see you later!